Hey guys, it's a rainy day, so what better thing could we do than play a theme park game where we can get all of the benefits of going to the theme park without having to stand in line in the cold, stand around and get wet while we're waiting to get on the ride, get miserable and disappointed by a very short ride in a very cold condition, and generally we'll get all of the benefits of going to the park without any of the downsides. I'm going to choose to play Universal Studios Theme Park Adventure on the GameCube because I'm sure that is going to give us everything we're looking for and more. Let's take a look at it. Universal Studios Theme Park Adventure sounds like a great idea on paper. The game starts with the famous spinning globe logo and quickly descends into a visual spectacle, with the DeLorean from Back to the Future flying through the park. This intro makes the game look like a real visual delight. I was impressed. The feeling did not last. After choosing which of several bland-looking kids I wanted to play as, sadly none of the above is not an option, I was dumped into a bland-looking recreation of the park. There are no tips or hints about what to do presented to you. Normally that wouldn't be a problem, but in this case it's a nuisance because the game is so obnoxious. You'll quickly find that these oversaturated visuals are seen via a fixed camera, which means your little kid will easily get lost in the mass of NPCs wandering around. Sometimes the NPCs can be talked to and sometimes they can't. But you'll soon find there's no reason to bother talking to them anyway, because they all repeat the same generic lines, of which there are maybe 5. Save for one woman who randomly asks you to find her lost phone. Now, I know what you're thinking, ooh, a quest. But no, it's really not. It's a fetch quest at best, and to be honest, it hardly even counts as that. But what makes it even more galling is that when you find the phone, she phones you on it from her other phone. Who designed this thing? Who thought that was a good idea? Probably the same person who decided that there needed to be a map in the game, but who wouldn't give you it when you started out. Oh no, you've got to go and get that map yourself, and you won't know that until you randomly come across an NPC inside the park who tells you to go all the way back to the entrance to pick it up. But that's not all. Here's the best part. The map is next to useless. When trying to navigate this mess of a layout, you'll often have to check the map. The problem is, the map doesn't seem to correspond to the layout of the park all that well. Sometimes, walking off the screen will make you jump a reasonable distance on the map. Other times, you seem to just be around the corner from where you were. But the best part of it all is this. It's incredibly easy to get turned around in the game and think you're going in one direction, say toward a ride that you want to try out, when in fact you are going in the opposite direction. And the map will not explain any of that. The amount of times I found myself stood outside the Jurassic Park ride when I was trying to get back to the entrance, or ended up going in a circle in the Wild West zone, is far too high to make any of this enjoyable. The game is a mess, and that's before we've even got to the problem of the rides. There are 6 rides in total, although you'll notice that after each ride you get to check your stamp collection, and there are clearly 8 squares for stamps. Woodpecker, who is pretty much the best part of the game by the way, will tell you early on that there's a stamp collecting competition going on in the park. The rides are Jaws, The Wild West, E.T., Back to the Future, Jurassic Park and Backdraft. There's also a Waterworld show, a quiz that's far too obnoxious for its own good, a longer quiz because hell, they've got to fill this mini DVD up somehow, and a Match 2 game that you can find on any generic collection of crap. Jaws was the first ride I went on, but only because it was the first ride I'd managed to actually navigate my way to. It's a poor mini-game, but then again they all are, where you slowly walk around a boat that's under attack from a vicious shark. The aim is to hurt the shark enough that it will go away, and you do that by throwing barrels and crates at it when it's about to strike. Do that enough and you'll win. Miss enough and the shark will destroy your boat, causing a game over. Aiming is terrible. You need to be right on point with the direction that you're facing. But the minimap won't help you with that. You can't see the shark until it's the last second, so you'll miss a lot. You'll also walk very slowly, and the hitbox around the obstacles on the boat is massive, so you'll keep getting stuck on the scenery. It's annoying as all hell, and I can't recommend it. The Wild West show suffers from very similar control problems. It's a target shooting game that would be enjoyable if it wasn't for the pixel-perfect targets, the awfully slow controls that only affect you because the computer-controlled opponents are dead quick, and the fact that you have to do 3 rounds of this crap if you want the stamp. Lose 1 round, and you will, because the controls are pathetic, and that's it, game over. This might be fun with a light gun, but it's not with a light gun. It's with the controller, and it sucks. E.T. is a generic side-scrolling race where you have to avoid obstacles and make a few jumps in order to get E.T. back onto his ship. It's not bad, but it's not great. There's next to nothing to this game, but you have to keep the A button pressed or you won't pedal. What's the point of that? I'm serious, what is the point of that? Did the developers genuinely believe there was anyone who would load up this game and then decide not to pedal the bike? Having a button for the brakes is understandable, even though I never actually encountered a situation where you would need to slow down, but a button to pedal in a game that's specifically about pedaling? That's just stupid. Back to the Future is another one that has a similar problem. You have to keep the A button pressed for no good reason. You're chasing Biff, who somehow has another flying DeLorean, in an on-rails chase game. Now, okay, I can understand that there are some situations where you'll need to slow down in this minigame, but then you get back to the E.T. issue of just needing a button to brake. This should auto-accelerate. Don't demand that we press the A button just so a handful of people might be tricked into thinking that they're actually taking part in this crap. Anyway, the point of this is to ram Biff's DeLorean until it's too broken to keep flying. Basically, this is Chase HQ through time. I would play that game. I don't want to play this one. It's visually impressive in a few sections, but there's literally nothing of substance to anything on this. Another on-rails game is Jurassic Park. It's an on-rails shooter where you blast dinosaurs with your magic laser gun that doesn't feature in any of the films. It's a decent shooter all things considered. I mean, it's no Panzer Dragoon, which the attack patterns on the laser reminded me of, but it is decent enough. This is probably the best of all the mini-games. The final game is Backdraft. At 15 minutes long, this is by far the longest of the games. You have to Super Mario Sunshine your way through a burning building, rescuing people and putting out all the fires. There are some decent set pieces involved, and if there was a little more to it than walk to location A, put out fire B, walk over to person C and rescue them, then rinse and repeat, then I think this will be a decent bit of fun. The problem is, it quickly gets dull and repetitive, and the camera is so awkward it's possible to get turned around on yourself far too easily. Speaking of getting turned around, the controls literally flip when the camera switches direction. At more than one point, I was pressing up on the thumbstick to walk forward. The camera switched to look behind me, and now all of a sudden, up on the thumbstick means walk back the way you came. Now, that is inexcusable in a timed mission, but it happens all the damn time in this game. So there we have it, 6 mini-games, with only a couple really being worth your time. But there are 8 squares on the stamp card, so what are the other 2 squares for? Well, that would be the 2 extra games that you can only access by completing Winnie Woodpecker's quiz. The quiz is 10 questions long, although good luck finding that out until you complete it. There are over 730 questions in the game, so many that even supposedly complete answer lists available online are not actually complete. The quiz requires such an encyclopedic knowledge of Universal Studios films that even I, a card-carrying film buff who has adored films all her life, didn't know the answers to the overwhelming majority of these questions. Did you know the budget of Waterworld without looking it up? How about the exact voltage of the electric fence in Jurassic Park? How about answering a load of questions about early Universal films? Who is this quiz aimed at? This game is barely playable by children, but the quiz is clearly aimed at a specific kind of nerdy adult. There's no way kids are going to know all the answers to all these questions, and no way an adult is going to find this game any fun. So who is this for? Seriously, please, someone tell me, who is this supposed to be for? But if you somehow manage to get 10 questions right, and I'll admit that I grabbed one of those incomplete answer lists off the internet and just kept trying until I got enough answerable questions in a row, then you get to see the post-quiz bonus games. What are the games? Another bloody quiz and a tile matching game. The tile matching game is exactly what you think it is. Pick 2 random tiles and see if they match. If they do, you win. If they don't, you get to try again. Woohoo! The quiz is just a longer quiz. It's 15 obnoxious questions instead of 10. Good luck with that. So what is the point of all this? What is the reason for all those extra mini games? Well, here's the thing. You need all 8 stamps to win the game. Without them, the Waterworld ride will close about halfway through the game and won't open again until you've completed the stamp book. Is it worth it? This is the Waterworld ride. All of it. Did you enjoy it? I know I didn't. the damn thing can stay closed for all I care.
You should check out Waterworld before it's dark.
Yeah, no we shouldn't. I'll admit it, I gave up at this point. The rides are just generic mini-games that you can probably find better versions of on any Flash game site, for free. You get to try one, maybe two of them before all the rides somehow become full up and you won't be able to get on them anymore. And there are two ways around this. The first way is to do random side quests like the phone fetching quest that I mentioned earlier. This will give you a pass to get on one of the rides, so that's one way to do it. The other is by collecting enough points to buy the specific hat that you need for the ride, which gives you unlimited access to that ride. The passes that you get for doing quests can only give you access once. Getting points can be done in a number of ways. You get points by playing the mini-games on the rides. This happens whether you beat the mini-game or not, which is useful. You also get points by completing the side quests. There are several mascots scattered at random around the park, and you get points when you shake hands with them. But the main way to get points is to pick up litter and put it in a bin. The bins are rarely found, but the litter is everywhere. It's possible to rack up points very quickly that way. That's how I bought all the hats, and I did it in about 45 minutes of wandering around the park. You don't need to find a bin after each piece of litter, so just grab it all while you're on the way to a bin, and you'll find you have a few hundred points by the time you get there. I've seen a lot of people talk about this game as if it's a litter picking simulator, when the truth is, it's not. It is possible to earn enough points to get all the hats in a pretty short amount of time, especially once you have enough points to buy your first hat, which will only mean shaking hands with a couple of mascots, or doing one or two side quests. You get points for pretty much everything you do, after all. But the criticism of the litter picking is valid in another sense, because it shouldn't be part of the game. There is literally no reason why litter picking is in this game. It doesn't add anything. It makes it seem like Universal Studios theme park is full of litter, when I'm sure it's actually not. And it raises the question of why they would put this in their game. The game is unfocused, and it doesn't know what it wants to be. That's the only explanation I can give you for the litter, and also for the complete lack of substance to any of the ride mini-games. This isn't a game that I'm going to come back to, I'll tell you that. It was interesting to give it a try, but there's nothing here to keep me going, and I don't think you'll find anything worthwhile either. But anyway, that's really all we've got time for this week, so thank you very much for watching. I hope you liked this, and if you did, remember to click that like button, share this with your friends so they'll know a good game when they see it, or in this case, not a very good game at all, but something one to watch out for. And do remember to subscribe for future videos, because there will be more in the future. But until next time, I've been Zoe Kirk-Robinson, you've been watching GameHammer on the Knobmouse channel, and I'll see you later. Today's video is brought to you by my graphic novels, The Collected Life of Knobty Mouse, Volume 1, All Over the House, Volume 1, and All Over the House, Volume 2. Thank you.